Hi, Miriam. So I saw that this is the updated task one that you wanted to send. So let's take a look at this along with your task two. This is the task one about bird flu. Please, if you can, I would like you to copy and paste the image into your answer because I do need to refer to the diagram when I do these corrections, okay? All right, let's take a look at what you wrote. The bar chart published by the World Health Organization demonstrates the increase of bird flu casualties worldwide between the years 1990 and 2000. Careful with your spelling, there's no E here. While there had been a continual, you need an adjective here because this is a noun, a continual progression of numbers in that decade, it is evident that the casualties did not experience another rise for the last 4 years of the chart, thus remaining high but steady. All right, that's interesting. Fine. Let's continue. With just above 120,000 cases per year in the first 2 years, 130,000 years, careful, you meant cases, in the following 2 years, respectively, the numbers of cases showed a relatively slow progression for the first 4 years. However, the cases kept rising unstoppably, but slowly, with an annual, there's two N's here, increase of about 5,000 new cases. Until in 1997, there was, with a raise of 10,000 new casualties, the biggest jump in bird flu casualties since the beginning of the decade. However, this number persisted over the next 4 years until the year of 2000. Clearly, this bar chart establishes the bird flu experienced a global increase of casualties for the last decade of the bygone millennium. All right, so I saw a lot of things in this essay, in this task one that I liked. I saw that you used an interesting range of vocabulary, and you definitely did something that examiners like to call risk taking. So you experimented with some language, you experimented with some vocabulary, grammar, and so that's good. Some of these experiments worked out well for you, and some of them less so. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to revise this a little bit and talk about what you could have written a little differently, a little better, a little more accurately. Let's see. So I liked what you did here, thus remaining high but steady. So I thought that was good. That was a nice piece of grammar. It made a good impression. So I would leave that. Okay. And then, so what I really want to take a look at is this paragraph here. I thought it could have been maybe a little, how can I say this? Maybe clearer. So I didn't really care for this particular first sentence. With just over 120,000 cases per year in the first 2 years, yeah, I don't know if I would have done it quite like this. I probably would have started it with the period began in 1990 with just above 120,000 cases, full stop. This figure continued for the following year as well. However, in 1992, I guess, a rise of approximately 10,000 cases was shown, also continuing for the following year. All right, so just a little more step by step would have been better. Or not even necessarily, but I wanted this to be a little clearer. Let's see, the number of cases showed a relatively slow progression. Okay, so I think it's just a little clearer than what you have here in these first 2 lines. And I didn't really like this unstoppably. Again, this is an example of taking a risk. It didn't really work here. So it would have been better to just say, however, the cases kept rising gradually with an annual increase of about 5,000 new cases. Or you don't even have to say cases again. Let's see. However, the figures kept rising gradually with an annual increase of about 5,000 new cases. Okay, figures is a great word because it's a catch-all. Instead of using numbers, percentages, or in this instance, cases, you can use the word figures, and it works in so many different contexts. Okay. And then this I thought was awkward. So I thought you could have done a cleaner job of this whole sentence. So in 1997, until in 1997, there was a rise of 10,000 new casualties. Yeah, I'm confused here. So this for me needed to be cleaner. And this is another reason why I need to see the image so I could tell you. I think, what is it, 1993 or 94? In any case, at some point, I know there's like a jump and then the figures stay rather steady. So I think this could have been a little more clearly written. And this number persisted over the next 4 years till the year of death. Okay, that's fine. This for me felt a little unnatural for the last decade of the bygone millennium. That felt a little strange. So maybe we can clean this up a little bit, make the language a little more natural. So clearly this bar chart establishes that the bird flu, careful with your typing here, you've got 2 mistakes, experienced a global increase of casualties for the last decade. You don't even have to say that. For the period in question would have been a nice expression. Okay. You don't have to go into details of the bygone millennium and so forth. Okay. All right. So I hope that helps with how you should both organize your ideas and maybe write a little more clearly. Those for me are the 2 things that needed a little work here. So why don't we move now on to your task 2? Okay, so now let's take a look at your task 2 about switching jobs. Here's what you wrote. Changing jobs is always exciting and challenging. Some people never quit their employment, while others switch their job not only one, but in some cases many times. Here, I would have liked once, not only once, but in some cases, comma, many times. I believe that changing employment opens up a range of possibilities, like gaining new knowledge or getting the chance for better payment. Therefore, this essay will elaborate on the advantages of switching jobs while acknowledging the point of view of people who want to stay at one job for the whole life, maybe because they do not want to prove themselves again, maybe because they fear the new, of simply because they're happy where they are. Okay. I want to talk to you a little bit about your paragraphing and the purpose of each paragraph. So the purpose of your introduction is essentially to do 2 things. It, number 1, has to present the topic, and then number 2, it has to present your position. The position is really important because it's one of the things that you need in order to be considered for a band 7 in task achievement. Other than that, the introduction really doesn't have any other role. So it needs to include those 2 pieces of information, and then you need to just get out of there and be done with it. Because what you really want to do is you want to spend more time developing your body paragraphs. That is where you will be able to affect your task achievement score by how well you develop, how fully you develop your arguments. Okay. So what I see here, just looking at this, is that you've got an introduction that is even longer than your body paragraphs. And that for me is a red flag. That shows me that you spent quite a bit of time here and probably didn't really develop these paragraphs particularly fully. Okay. So you want to do the exact opposite. An introduction can be 2, 3 sentences long, and that's about it. I really felt like you had way too much information here. Okay. From like this point on, I thought it's just too much. Maybe you could have even shortened it further. It could have just been something like nowadays, many people are opting to switch jobs throughout their career, while some advocate remaining in the same profession for their entire professional life. In my opinion, switching jobs is ideal for most professions, but not all. Okay, and then you're done. Okay, and then what I would do is I would then have a paragraph explaining which professions really shouldn't switch. Okay, and then I would have a paragraph talking about the other reasons why it is important and why they should. Okay, so let's see what you did though. The reason why people switch the reasons why people switch their job vary. Some do not feel appreciated, thus are being taken for granted. Well, that's really kind of redundant, isn't it? It's not, I don't feel appreciated, so that means I'm being taken for granted. They're kind of similar, so I would not have written it like this. Some do not feel appreciated. Some do not feel appreciated or believe they are taken for, again, it's the same thing, or it's very similar at least. So some do not feel appreciated and therefore feel like they are being forgotten in important decisions. Okay, maybe you can give us an example. Here, seek is with 2 E's, not an A. Some seek new adventures because they feel bored and stuck. Okay. Others want or have to negotiate better salaries, IES, or working conditions in general. All right, this really feels like a list, so be careful. And we don't start sentences with but. You could start a sentence with however. However, many of them want to climb up the career ladder, that's LADD, and a vacancy has just opened somewhere else. All these arguments are reasonable and in the best case scenario, sum up. I don't understand this. All of these arguments are reasonable and I don't understand sum up before handing in a resignation. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. So I can't really help you fix it. I thought this paragraph really read like a list. It didn't really feel like it followed the progression of ideas that a good, solidly organized paragraph needs to have. So what do I mean? I mean that there are several components of a good, well-written paragraph. The first one is you have to have a clear topic statement, where topic sentence, where the sentence essentially tells us what the central idea of the paragraph is. So that could just be something like this. There are numerous reasons why people switch their job. Full stop. The first reason is because they are unsatisfied in their current place of work. Perhaps they feel they are not being considered in major decisions, or perhaps they would like to work up the career ladder and feel that switching companies is the quickest and best way to do this. Okay? Then you could give us another reason why. Another reason why people switch jobs is because they want to seek new challenges. Some people get bored, they want new environments, new colleagues, and so forth, and therefore such a switch would be ideal for them. That's how you organize this. So you have a main idea and then you explain what you mean by that main idea. It can be an example, it can be further explanation, it can be some sort of a statistic that you make up. Any one of those is fine, but every time you have a main idea, you do need to back it up with some sort of further information. All right. Other people believe that the change of work I think you mean inevitably, comes along with nervousness, overexcitement, and surprises, which is simply not needed in one's life anymore. They have proven themselves once. Why the need to go through this okay. They have proven themselves once. So why the need, or therefore would be better. Therefore, why the need to go through, this is the informal way of spelling it, so don't spell it like this process again without knowing the outcome. However, one simple and obvious reason is not to be forgotten. Some people do not change their jobs because they feel happy at their workplace, get well paid, and are appreciated and are given the chance to advance at their job. Okay, again, it feels a little bit like a list. I want to see more of this Here is the reason why. This is what I mean by that. This is my example. This is my support. Here's my reason why. This is what I mean. This is my example. Okay? So a little more of that would be ideal here because it just feels underdeveloped. All right. And this is what I was telling you earlier. You had a lot to say here, but comparatively, it seems like you have very little to say here. In conclusion, I believe that switching employment, at least, this should be a T here, once could open up a new, successful 1L and happy path. But one can only benefit from that step if she feels unhappy in the old job and at the same time is not afraid of new challenges. Okay, this is fine. So I think you should have at this point a good idea of what is working in these essays and what is not working, what needs to be done a little differently. So I really want to see you apply some of the suggestions in this video to your next set of writing. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so I'll be waiting for your next set and good luck with it.